Hello and welcome to another video Android tutorial. Hello and welcome to another tutorial on Android programming. In this video we are going to look at the structure of our app, or the structure of any Android app that is out there. So it's very important to know how the files and the code that we are creating are organized and where they are stored. So if you open a code, or if you open a certain file in Android, you'll see that it will be opened here on the top, this top bar. So in case we close it, and then you'll see it will disappear and we shall have nothing so far. So today we're going to browse so that we should see how the files are organized in our Android apps. So to see this, first of all, I'll collapse everything. To collapse everything, we first select an Android project. In fact, if you have already opened an Android project, and then to collapse everything, you simply click here and then everything will be collapsed. If you want to expand stuff, then you click here and things will be expanded. But here they will be expanded in case there's any file that is already opened at the moment. So I'm going to expand this one manually, which is the app. So simply click here on the app. But before I proceed, I wish you should know that our Android apps are separated into two: the front end side and the back end side. The front end side is the user interface that the user can see on their screen, and the back end side is our logic or the code of Java that we use to make decision of the app. So the user will interact with the user interface, which is the front end, and for us we shall be putting the whole logic in the back end. The front end we always write it using XML, and then the back end we write it using Java. So that's the main point that we should know. So here we have Java. I will not explain everything because some tasks are not important. So here we have Java, that is the back end. All our Java code will come here, and the front end, this is what we call it a resource, and all our resource code, all our front end all our front end resources, they'll come here inside the res folder. We have Android Manifest. Here there is only one file which is named as Android Manifest.xml. This one describes how our application is organized. Is the one that lists all the activities that inside our apps. Is the one that gives our app a name. Is the one that shows the logo for our app, the icon. It's just a context of our all app. We call it Android Manifest. So Android Manifest must be in every app. Without Android Manifest, or if you mess up with Android Manifest, then your app won't work, or it won't be even executed. And every activity that we shall use in our application, it must be registered here in the Android Manifest. It is just like a dictionary for our app that defines all the things that we're going to use in our app. So that's the first folder, Android Manifest. So we have another one, Gradle resource scripts. This one we use it to define the libraries that you're going to use to use inside the app. So this one is also not necessary. It is necessary, but it does not relate to, how should I say it? It does not affect our app that much, because we just use it to do what? To define the libraries that we shall use inside our Android app. So I'll collapse it. We call them Gradle resources, and we shall work with them so much as we proceed. So this is the Gradle, and this is the Manifest. But the main concern here is the front end, which is the resource, and the back end, which is the Java. So if I click on Java, I'll be able to see generated codes. This generated code, or the test code, are just used when you're creating a project. So you have the test, and here you can see generated code, which is also Android test. This one is just used when you are doing when you are testing our app, or when you are developing the app. In the final app, when you execute the app, this one won't be used. But what will be used is this code that we see here, which does not have any test or generated. So that's the original code that we shall use. So I'm first looking at the back end, then after we shall go to the front end. Okay, So these test codes, I'll not concentrate on them because they're not important. They're just used when, in fact, even when you're making a final app, we always delete these test codes. So I'll expand, and you see what you call an activity. So an activity is a single separate how should I call it, existence or a separate instance of an app. For example, in website we call them web pages. So you can have a home page, a about us page, where those are separated. So, and we call them activities here in Android. I'll in the next video, I mean in the coming videos, I'll make a specific video for Android activities, and I'll bring a right definition for Android activity. Right now I had not prepared it, but just know that an activity is a single page, should I call it a page, or an instance that will appear on our screen. So every activity must have a back end and a front end. So this is what this is on one activity, which is called main activity. And just like the way I told you that every activity that is inside our app, it must be registered. So if you come here to Android Manifest, you'll see that this main activity is registered here, that class. So this is just a Java class, and if I open it, we shall discuss about the activities, but they are just I'm bringing a little bit structure of our Android app. So we shall see some Java code. Don't mind about the code, but just know that we shall see a Java code. But this Java code is also referencing another front end, which is called activity main, and we shall look at this one. It's a layout. Okay, so every activity is the brain or the back end of a certain instance of our app, and then it must also have a front end. So we can have as many activities as possible inside here. So I'll leave this activity at that point, but just know that our Java code will be inside inside these activities. So we shall proceed to resources, because say that the Java code will be inside the Java, or the backend code will be inside this Java folder. So I'm going to proceed to resources. I'll simply click here to expand the resources. So the resources are mainly divided into 4. Mainly, we can have other divisions, but in the main, the resources are divided into 4, whereby we have the drawables, we have the layouts, the map, and the values. The drawables, so I'll begin from top here. The drawables, these are resources, external resources that we use in our apps, such as the images, such as the MP3 files, such as just any external resource that you're going to use in our app. We put it inside inside drawable. For example, if I have an image that I'm going to use inside my app, I have to save it inside inside that drawable, and that I'll be able to do I'll be able to use it in this particular app. For example, you can see these are background XMLs. It can be an XML, can be an image, can be any kind of resource, but as long as we shall use it inside our app, we put it here. For example, if I just click here, you just see it is some kind of XML, and it is having some code, but just know that any file that we shall use from external, we put inside inside drawables, such as images and the rest. Okay, so we have the layouts. So the layouts, these are the front end of the activities and the rest. So all what the user will see them through the layout. Remember, we said that this activity, it must be having a layout. You see here it is referencing a layout called activity main. Inside layout, you also have activity main. So this one, its front end will be inside here, and the back end of this activity will be inside here. Will be inside this main activity. Let me open this layout and you see what is there. In fact, this layout is what we've been practicing before. All the things that we've been working with before, XML file, those things that we're working with, the layout, the constraint layout, and the rest, all of them, they're inside this layout file. And we can have main activities here with the different and many layouts. So that's why you see that so it means that this activity its context or its back end will be the main activity class. So if you have another page, for example, if I'm making an app for chatting, I'll have the feeds page or the timeline page, I'll have a profile page, and I'll have a message page. So message page will be a separate activity with its Java code and its back end, its front end layout. The feeds activity will be a different activity with the Java code, another class with a separate layout. Likewise, to the profile page, you'll have also a separate activity of a Java class with a also separate layout. But right now we have only one activity. That's why you see we're having here only one class with a single layout. And this layout is where we can put the logic, what the user will see. And then the brain of what will control here, we shall put it inside this Java code. So that's how the layouts are related. So in case we are to use, for example, an image here, that image must be inside the drawables, not the layout. So we shall put the drawable here, and then we shall be able to reference that image that is inside the drawable to this layout. I'll proceed. You have understood what is the relationship between the layouts and the drawables and the Java main class activity. So we proceed and expand the map. This map will always put there the icons. For example, here we can have the launcher icon. Remember, our default launcher icon is here. So here has no big deal. We just use it to make icons and other related vector values. So lastly, we look at the values. So values, we have colors. So if we are to use colors or dynamic colors inside our project, we want to define colors. Those colors, we define them here. For example, here you see the primary color of our app was purple. So if we want to change it, we have to change it from here. Or if we want to make our colors to be dynamic, so we have to define these colors from here, and we can be able to reference them inside the Java code or inside our XML code. They're just like resources. We have strings. So if we have string, for example, our application name, and we don't want to repeat ourselves, we can define all those strings here. This, for example, you can see our application name is here, my application, and is given a name, and it is just a string. So if I have another string, maybe the description of my application, I can as well put it here so that I can reuse it in any code, either here or here. That's how we implement implement string. But if I had I can as well hardly define it here. For example, I can as well hardly write it here, but if I write it here, I cannot be able to reuse it. But if I want to reuse a certain resource, for example, a string and the rest, so I have to define it here. Okay, just create another string with the names, and then I can be able to reuse same string in different parts of my app in either the back end or the front end. We also have what we call styles, and these styles, we use it to style our app. For example, it's just like if someone activates a night mode, we want to activate some colors, or we want to use the different colors that we don't want to repeat ourselves, we can also define those colors inside these styles, or creating themes. We shall also talk about the themes in the coming videos, but all the themes can also be defined here. So that's a simple structure of a simple basic structure of our Android project code, whereby we have the manifest, we have the back end and the front end, whereby the back end is a Java class and the front end is XML activity. This XML activity will use the resources such as drawables, and these drawables can be images and the rest. Then we have the map, which is our icon, and then we have values such as colors, and these colors, we can use them to reference them inside the Java code or the XML code. We have strings, we can use them to reference them inside the Java code or the XML code, and we reuse them. And then we have styles that we can use to define the theme or the appearance of our app. So you may be wondering how these which things are these exactly. So these are just files. So to prove to you, I'm going to open this project directly so that you can see how it is in reality. So I'll come and open my project. Is here. It's called my application. So I'll double click on it. So you can see we have the Gradle, which is this one that we were talking about before, and we have other non-important things, but we are going to concentrate on important ones. So we have the app. So our app is inside here. So I'll open the app, and this app, it has build. It has build. So all the things that we shall be extracting, the builds, the APK that we use when you're practicing or when you're developing, they'll be inside this build. So this is generated, the test, all of them, they'll be inside here. So this one is not important for us. We have lib. This one will have when we start using external libraries, but right now I've not started using them. So when we start using the external libraries, all our libs will come here, or external libraries, they'll be stored here. Then we have src, which is the source, and this means the source code. So if we open the source code, then our real app will start from here. We have the test and then this test, but the main code is inside the main. So if we open the main, you see this is now the main code that I was talking about. We have the Java, like I told you, that is the back end. We have the resources and the manifest that defines things that are inside our app, and that's why you see manifest is outside, because it lists all the main information about our app. So I'm going to open the Java so that we can see what is there inside. So I double click there. You can see here there's a com and then our package name, and then inside the package you have my application. That is the package for for this Java code. You see my application, and if I open it, then we shall see the main activity, which is this one, main activity.java. So it is nothing but a Java file. So if I open this one with just a plain text editor, I want to see what is inside. You see there's just there is just a Java code, whereby we have the application name, Android stuff, bundles, and then this is the Java code main class, which extends the app compat activity, and then some Java code that we are seeing exactly inside there. So it means that these things are just nothing but real files. So if I come back, these are the two things that we really need in our app: the Java back end and then the resources front end. So if I click on the resources, you will see we have the drawable, we have the layouts, and we have the values. And if I open drawables, you see everything that we use, like pictures and the rest, will be here. If I come out and then I'll open the layout, you see our layout. This is the layout, this one. Where is it? This one. It will be here. So all the layouts that you want will be inside here. They're just nothing but but files that you can even simply open. So if I open here, you see these are just nothing but files that the IDE was helping us to write. Otherwise we can as well write them from here, and if you don't have the IDE, then it will be a little bit complicated or complex, because you have not to do any mistake. But if you have the IDE like Android Studio, it can help us to write these files. So you see that is our back end. And then lastly we have the we have the values, and these values we have colors, and these colors is just an XML file like other previous XML files that I've been looking at. You see, colors, primary, and whatever. So since we are using just a text editor, a plain text reader, then you cannot see even them being colored. So we have colors, we have strings, and styles. So in simple terms, this is the point where our app is. Without this, in fact, we don't have any app. So this is the back end, this is the front end, and this is the this is the Android manifest that describes the whole app that we have built. I won't go beyond here. I hope you've learned how the Android app is structured. Let us meet in the next video, where we're going to look at more about Android. If you've not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please make sure that you subscribe now. Thank you for watching.